We're at 5 after here, so I think we'll just get started. So thanks everybody for joining the webinar today. We have a couple speakers from our team who will let you introduce themselves here shortly. Today we're going to talk a little bit about AI, really talk about a lot of things we talked about at NADA. Not everybody was able to join the conference or go there each time, so we always like to have sort of like a follow-up on that. And there's also just a lot changing in the whole world of AI, and so we brought the experts here to sort of talk through some things, talk through some of our solutions for these items. We'll have some Q&A at the end. So first I'll start with going through background about Greenline for those of us who don't know us, and then we'll get to the meat of the meeting. So first off, I'm Brent Rogers. I'm one of the partners here at Greenline. Greenline's been around for about 10 years. It'll be 10 years here in September, so a big celebration for us here internally. I've been in the auto industry since about 2008, so I focus really on just products and trying to drive us being always on the cutting edge of things. So I'll get to Elena.
Awesome. Hi, my name is Elena. I lead our SEO team here at Greenline. I have 14 years of experience, really specializing in the development of data-driven SEO strategies and new technologies to help our clients achieve their goals. And I will pass it over to CP.
Thanks, Elena. I'm Christina. I have over 16 years of experience in paid search in both global agencies and client-side roles. I head up the team here at Greenline, overseeing strategy and client success for automotive, lead gen, and e-com clients.
So a small background on Greenline, only a couple slides here for you all, and then we'll get into everything that we wanted to talk about today on the AI side. So Greenline, for again those of you who don't know us, digital full service agency, really focus on a unique business model in the automotive space. Definitely very customer service focused. But when you look at like what products we have, we really do everything in the auto space except for build websites. And so we're not a website provider. What we are is a partner who integrates with any website partner. So we all know the dealer.coms, the Dealer Inspires of the world, who manage many of the, I'll call them templatized websites, and that's not a negative term in terms of like how the sites are built. Everything we do integrates with those providers. And so that's really what we set out to do, is deliver a different experience, different products that integrate with everything in the automotive space. And then just other backgrounds, like what we try to focus on is just, leaders in leveraging AI and the adoption of the newest technologies. That's really what we're going to be talking about today as we go through both SEO, paid media, a little bit about how specials and offers work. In terms of, other parts about us is just, customer service. We really act as an in-house team. A lot of the agencies in the space are, you're dealing with just an account manager who kind of does everything for us. With Greenline, you're kind of dealing with an entire team. And so that's one of the big things we hang our hat on, is that you have a whole team that you have access to, that you're speaking to as a dealership or as partner agencies that we work with. And so, our focus is not necessarily sales. It's definitely long-term relationships with our clients. And, we bring those employees are all subject matter experts. And so everyone really, really knows what's going on. It's not just the Jack or Jill of all trades, if you will. And so we have a little portfolio here, and what you kind of see for, NBC or Louis Vuitton, Motor Hennessy, or OEM brands like Volkswagen, where we're tier 1 agency of records for. The experience that those companies get is the exact same experience that our tier 3 dealers get. And so that's the big differences of kind of like who Greenline is. The next slide sort of reiterates a lot of this. It's just our transparency, our focus on customer service, our platform. We're going to talk through a lot of these things here shortly, but that's really the Greenline elevator pitch, if you will, so you all know who you're kind of talking to today. We don't really want to make it about Greenline. We want to talk about kind of like the information that we have for you and everything that's sort of changing. So I will kick it over to Elena, who's going to talk through a lot of the changes happening on the AI side with organic, with geo, all these different things. So I won't steal any of her thunder. Elena, all yours.
All right, thank you, Brent. Yeah, as Brent said, there is a major shift happening in the automotive industry and how search is moving from just traditional search results to also include AI-generated answers, with all of these changes happening in the search landscape, there was a belief that organic search and website optimizations were becoming less relevant and less important because of paid media, but it is actually quite the opposite. These foundational elements, including your website content and your listings, are only becoming more important, especially as AI tools start influencing how customers are discovering dealerships. And looking at that AI versus traditional search, AI is growing and it is changing the search landscape, but it's important to acknowledge that it's not replacing traditional search. Search engines still drive the majority of traffic today, and AI is growing alongside it. So it's not SEO in competition with GEO or output versus traditional rankings. You really need to optimize for both, and search demand is incredibly relevant across all. Additionally, looking at AI usage, it's growing. It's creating a significant opportunity in audience reach. There were over 55 billion visits to AI chatbots in just 1 year, and ChatGPT really dominates this space still. So when we think about search behavior, it's no longer just Google, it's also AI assistants. Customers are starting to ask AI questions such as what's the best SUV near me, or where should I service my Toyota? And AI is giving them those direct answers. And then those direct answers are leading them to an organic search to complete that action, such as purchasing a new SUV, or those answers are leading them to a website visit from the LLM itself. So these are high quality, low funnel audiences that we can then convert into customers today. And that's all wonderful, but there is a problem. 84% of dealers have no AI visibility today. That means when someone asks ChatGPT, Claude, or another tool those questions or for recommendations or for an answer to a question in that way, most dealerships simply don't show up. There's a massive gap when it comes to being discoverable in AI to reach more buyers in your area. In these platforms, they are using really to search and shop in addition to traditional search areas. This creates an opportunity for us to get ahead of our local competition because search demand is really only increasing in the AI landscape. And from search results to AI answers, this is where there are differences in how AI reads your website. It's different than a traditional crawler. Traditional SEO has been heavily about matching keywords to search intent, building rankings and organic search results, and building authority through off-page initiatives like backlinks and brand mentions. And it's not to say that none of that isn't relevant anymore, but AI does work a little bit differently. It's looking for structured data to help it best interpret the information on the page. It's also looking for clear expertise, signals of that clear expertise, and content written in a natural language that was created for people first, that it can understand and summarize to deliver that instant output based on its model. So instead of just ranking pages that show relevancy for a search, AI is trying to answer the question directly. So your website isn't just competing for these clicks in search results anymore, it's now competing to be the answer itself. So now we look at this to say, how do we win in this environment? There are 5 key areas impacting your AI rankings, and we'll dive into each of them. On-site SEO and GEO content to show relevancy signals and showcase your expertise. Technical SEO, to aid content discoverability, LLM-specific files to make discovery even faster, and local SEO and maps optimizations to support local authority. And of course, as always, AI visibility reporting to help us measure success is also important. So first is content. Your content has to do 3 things at once. Rank within search, be understood by AI, and support dealership goals in gaining more customers in both sales and service. That means structured, well-written pages with clear information covering the topic and search intent. And the goal is to create content that then both Google and AI tools can easily interpret and trust. And our Drive platform allows our team to effectively create this content at scale, which is helping our clients see results faster. The next is technical SEO, the background stuff you don't see, but AI absolutely does. This includes fixing errors like broken pages, cleaning up duplicate content, and optimizing for crawl efficiency, and adding structured data to ease content understanding, encouraging more AI mentions and rankings within rich results. Think of this as making your website easier for AI to read, because if AI cannot understand your website, it unfortunately will not recommend you. So these are some major steps that we complete as well that are essential for AI visibility and strong performance. And now we're also mapping website content directly to AI tools using solutions like LLM TXT files, creating a roadmap of the most important content that is updated in real time as new content is created and inventory is updated. Some CMS providers have the capabilities to create these files and others are working on it. As Brent mentioned at the top of the call, we work with all website providers and have been able to integrate our solutions into their systems well. Where we see the gap currently with LLM TXT files is that none of them are automatically providing that solution. So our team here at Greenline is uploading these LLM TXT files as a temporary solution until the CMS providers are able to create those for you by default in your website management services. And this ultimately helps AI understand what your website offers and increases your chances of showing up in AI-generated answers, like BMW Barrington on the screen, rated the highest in overall AI friendliness. And when you do this well, you can dominate both traditional organic search and AI visibility at the same time, really getting ahead of your local competition. And looking more at local SEO. So your Google Business Profile is no longer just for search and maps views. It's being reviewed by AI every day. So this means keeping all categories updated is important, posting regularly to deliver new relevant content to your listings, and syndicating your listings across all directory platforms for consistent local signals. These are optimizations we cover within our SEO services as well, including automated posting of inventory and special offer posts, matching a specials page and model SRP banners on custom model SRP pages. And this is all essential in working together because when AI recommends local businesses, it's pulling from all of this data and ranking you accordingly. And now once you've done all of that, the content, the technical SEO, the LLM optimization, there's obviously one more critical piece, which is measurement. So if you can't see how you're performing in AI, you can't improve it. And this is where AI visibility reporting comes in. What we're doing here is actually taking these success indicators and tracking them to measure performance over time in your overall site health, your AI search health, how often your dealership is being mentioned in AI responses, and which pages are actually being cited by AI tools. So instead of guessing, we can see in real time and in a trending period of time how your presence in AI is growing. And more importantly, with this data, we can identify what content is working, where content and technical efficiency gaps exist, and then develop a strategy to continue to improve overall AI performance. Because ultimately, in this new landscape, we're not moving away from search. We are expanding it into new platforms where users are engaging. And that is everything from me. I could talk about this all day, but I will pass it back to Brent.
Thank you. Next couple slides are just, an example of, like solutions that we have that, will help for things like specials. I mean, like one common request is how do I show up for my offers in search? And that's been around for years. Like how do I rank organically for these things? And so as we look through like our platform, what we've built, really this all comes down to like, yeah, these are our solutions, but really what you need to be looking for as a dealership is like, is my partner doing some of these things? And the more of these things that you're going to accomplish with your partners, the better success you're going to have. And so as we look through our platform here, this really gets into our specials management, how you get your specials, your lease payments, all those things, sort of like ranking and search. And so, and spoiler alert, towards the end of this, there's going to be an offer where you can get some of these specials pages for free for a period of time to test it out with no commitment. So we'll talk about that towards the end. But so offers AI visibility. You know, you're going to have our tool update to all of these spaces, but really your specials page, your SRP, all of these pages that exist on your site, pages that your users have already defined as the most important pages on your site. So these aren't new pages you need to build. You don't need to go add 30 different pages to say, hey, this is where I need to go add this to my site because it's not strong. We can take what your site already has and make it stronger. So increasing quality scores, increasing just the quality of what the user sees on your page just by using this tool, all of that's done within structured data, can be pushed out within 24 hours. And the net result of doing this specials page, integration into paid media, integration to your SRP is the following slide, which shows the output that clients actually will see. And that is, you know, when you go for a search of like, what's the best lease payment on XYZ vehicle in an area, and this is in the metro. Actually, I believe this is one of our long-term partner clients who we're using an example of. I think they joined us on the call, so welcome, team. But what you can see here is not just the user experience of getting fast results, but this is how you win a zero-click environment, where we are the authoritative dealership for the answers here. So while AI is going to show multiple answers, the links that we are being served up are our links from the site because we've done all the things that Elena mentioned on the prior slide. So there's no silver bullet, if you will, but if you do all 5 of these things well, you're going to get more and more of these types of wins. And so it's really just good blocking and tackling that you have to do. And there's just so much more we have to look at now with AI than we used to have to look at when it was just straight SEO. SEO is already complicated. It's now a little bit more complicated, and we have to look at many different areas. And so this is how you win a zero-click environment, is by doing all these things. And so this is a real case of, we just did this search literally 15 minutes before the call to make sure we had the most relevant answers for you. So that's pretty much everything on the specials page. We'll talk about that offer towards the end, and I will kick it over to Christina to run through the paid media, paid search side.
Thanks, Brent. So today we're going to talk about how your dealership's ads can start showing up in AI-driven search results, and more importantly, what you need to be doing today to make sure you don't get left behind. Before we jump into how we can optimize for paid ads and AI results, it's important to understand why we're talking about this and how dramatically search behavior has changed in the last year. Automotive shoppers are searching in completely different ways. They're using voice search, image search, and AI-powered search experiences more than ever before. And this shift is not just creating new opportunities, but also new challenges to capture demand online. Here are a few key trends that really stand out to us. So first, 53% of users now expect personalized answers when they search. They're not just looking for links to go find the answers themselves. Customers want immediate answers tailored to their specific search. Second, searches are becoming longer and more nuanced. Queries with 5 or more words have grown 1.5 times faster than shorter searches. So instead of searching for something simple like a Subaru dealership, people are searching for things like, where can I find a black Subaru Forester with low monthly payments? And I'm betting you probably don't have that specific keyword in your search campaign, and we'll talk about how to capture that later. Lastly, AI overviews now reach more than 1 billion monthly users, rapidly changing what the search landscape looks like. So let's talk about some of these AI placements. First up are AI overviews. These are Google's AI-generated summaries that appear at the top of search results for many queries. These summaries pull information from across the web and present it as a quick answer. You'll often see them when someone asks a more complex question that doesn't have one right answer, something like, what's the best SUV for winter driving? Now, here's where this becomes really interesting for dealerships. Google is beginning to monetize these AI experiences by introducing ads that appear within or around the AI overviews. That means your dealership's ad or vehicle listing can show up before traditional search ads or even organic results, depending on the query and the auction. These ads are triggered based on Google's understanding of user intent and the context of the AI response, not just keywords anymore. That's why AI-powered campaign types are becoming increasingly important. They allow Google to easily match your dealership with the right shopper in a keywordless way. Similar to AI overviews, Google has introduced AI mode. This is essentially a conversational search experience where users can interact with Google more like a chatbot, similar to tools like ChatGPT or Copilot. So instead of typing a single search, people can ask actually follow-up questions and explore the answers and recommendations they receive. For example, a potential car shopper might start with something like, what's the best SUV under $40,000? They'll see results that include a list of different SUV options, along with Google's reasoning for why those vehicles were selected. So when I tested this, Google identified the Honda CR-V as the best overall option for me. From there, I continued the conversation with a follow-up question. Where is the nearest dealership in Chicago for the Honda CR-V? Google provided a list of top-rated dealerships along with their locations and links. And all of this information is pulled from across the web and presented as helpful recommendations tailored to the user's search. And just like with AI overviews, Google is beginning to introduce advertising within these experiences too. So there's no way to actually account for these types of conversations without AI in your traditional search campaigns. The results will be based on Google's interpretation of the conversation, not something we can just plan for in our keyword sets, but rather in our campaign setups. So how do dealerships actually appear in these new AI-powered placements? The key is running campaigns and strategies that allow Google's AI to understand and match your inventory, ads, and offers to consumer intent. And there are 4 main ways we can do this. First is broad match search with smart bidding, which allows Google to match your ads to a wider range of relevant queries, especially those longer conversational searches we talked about earlier. Second is Performance Max, which uses machine learning to show your ads across all of Google's inventory, including search, YouTube, maps, and more. So PMax can actually pull relevant landing pages and generate ad copy based on your website, helping match your ads to what the shopper is searching for. To make this work well, it's really important to provide Google with strong inputs like a variety of images and videos, compelling ad copy, vehicle inventory, and ad assets, and also enabling features like text customization and final URL expansion. Third is a newer one, AI Max with smart bidding, and it expands your reach beyond traditional keyword targeting to capture those super specific searches that we talked about earlier and can dynamically pull relevant ad copy and landing pages based on your website content to match it. And finally, dynamic search ads. So these basically automatically generate ads based on your website content. Based on the new changes, I think dynamic search ads will likely be sunset soon by Google, but they haven't said anything yet. Now, I could easily spend an hour talking about how we manage each of these campaigns, but for now, we'll just put it this way. The more high quality signals and creative you provide, the better Google's AI can match your ads to the right shopper. Now, while AI opens up a lot of new opportunities, success still comes down to strong campaign fundamentals. There are several key areas we focus on when we're preparing dealerships for the future of AI-driven advertising. First is content suitability, especially for Performance Max campaigns. It's not just about telling Google where to show your ads, it's also about telling Google where not to show them. We carefully manage placements, excluding certain low-quality sites and apps so we can focus on driving higher quality traffic back to your dealership's website. Second is maintaining robust negative keywords and regularly reviewing search terms. This helps ensure your ads aren't appearing for irrelevant searches and keeps campaigns focused on high-intent shoppers. Another critical piece is data and audience signals. AI systems perform best when they clearly understand what a good lead actually looks like. So we optimize campaigns toward high-value actions like phone calls and form submissions, which typically indicate shoppers are closer to making a purchase, rather than people who are just casually browsing. And finally, first-party data is incredibly powerful. Your CRM data helps define what your real customers actually look like. We combine that with in-market and custom audience signals and pair it with creative that speaks directly to those audiences, helping deliver the right message to the right shopper at the right moment in their buying journey. I alluded to this on a previous slide, but one of the biggest advantages dealerships have today is their first-party customer data. This isn't a new capability, but Google continues to make this a best practice and has even reduced the number of people needed in an effective list to just 100 instead of the 1,000 that was previously there. When used properly, this data can significantly improve campaign performance by providing strong signals to Google's AI. Now, privacy is always a concern, but whether you're using our CDP platform or Google's privacy-first upload methods, all data is hashed and never shared directly. We've done some extensive testing using this data within PMAX and search campaigns, from targeting customers whose leases are about to expire or using leads in the last 6 months. On the flip side, we've also used this data to exclude service audiences from sales search campaigns, so we don't waste ad spend on customers clicking a trademark ad when they really are just looking for your service department. The more signals you provide, the better it can to identify high intent buyers. So before we close, I wanted to share a joint case study we actually did with Google in one of our dealerships out in Chicago, Porsche Exchange. They wanted to increase vehicle leads in a really competitive market using our CDP technology. We built lists like lease expiring and mileage to find customers who were likely ready to be back on the market and to show Google what a real customer actually looks like. And we used all of those signals in our PMAX campaign. The results were pretty great. Within just 30 days on the same ad spend, leads increased 46%, conversion rate increased 31%, and cost per lead decreased 21%. By combining first-party data with AI-powered advertising, the dealership was actually able to reach the right customers at the right time while lowering their acquisition costs. So the big takeaway for us is AI is rapidly transforming how consumers search, and the dealers who succeed won't necessarily be the ones spending the most. They'll be the ones who test, learn, and adapt. And those are exactly the strategies we're trying to help dealers implement today. And with that, I'll pass it back to Brent for questions.
Thanks, Christina. And if you have any questions, feel free to submit them in the channel. We'll get some answers here. We're moderating them in the background. So we'll hang here for a moment and talk through some questions. And then after a few minutes here, once sort of the questions stop, then we'll talk about the offer that we're going to have for everybody as well.
Brent, so we have a question that just came in. Elena, this is going to be directed towards you. In addition to the categories and posts that happen on the Google business profile, do reviews also get pulled into the LLM results, and also, I guess, the dealer's responses to those reviews?
Absolutely. That is a great question. They definitely do. Not only from a traditional local SEO optimization standpoint of looking at the relevance of the area as well as the prominence in that area, taking from reviews. When we think about how users are navigating LLMs to say what is the best dealership to visit, reviews play a significant part in it. And answering reviews not only builds trust within the platforms that are pulling this information, but in users who are reading it to see that the dealership is answering their reviews, both good and bad.
Thank you so much. Another question that we have here, Christina, for you around AI Max. This question is asking if it was recently kind of resurfaced as an ad option. They saw it previously kind of like 6 months ago, and want to know kind of what changes or why they're seeing a resurgence of AI Max.
Yeah, so up until about a couple of months ago, AI Max was actually in a beta, and it was only allowed for certain advertisers. So now AI Max has actually been rolled out to everyone. And probably why you're hearing it more so now is that they actually just made a big update where we can actually add text guidelines, which is really exciting for us. So we can actually tell AI Max what not to say and what actually to focus on. So that's all really exciting, and it also just makes AI Max way more powerful now.
Awesome. And if anyone else has some additional questions, I see a couple more that look like they're being typed out, so we'll give it a couple more minutes. But if you guys have any follow-up questions to that too, please let us know, so that way we can make sure everything's clearly being answered. We'll also be sharing the recording after the webinar as well. Brent, this is in regards to the specials getting pushed out. In the screenshot that you shared, it looked like the specials were also getting added to ad copy and the website. Is that accurate?
Yeah. Within our specials tool, we integrate with both ad copy, pushes to ad copy, it pushes to several different areas within paid media, and then goes to specials page on the website, goes to the search results page on the website as well to eliminate any need for creative, and that's all done within that structured data that we mentioned. That's how we get that AI results to go with it. And so we've actually always sort of built them that way. Now we're just sort of seeing the fruits of our labor, if you will, because we built them properly from the beginning. And so those pages show results on AI, but then they also do integrate within search. So that's how we particularly pull in sort of the integration of SEO, geo, and paid media. Like our pages and everything all talk to each other as opposed to separate siloed efforts.
And then the last question that I've seen come in is just, are we able to test into the campaign types like AI Max, or do we have to completely set up a fully budgeted campaign?
You can test into it. We would just need to come up with goals and making sure it actually fits in your existing budget, but it's actually just a setting you can turn on to your existing campaign. Google actually recommends actually testing within the campaign that is set up and not creating a new one because you already have data to learn with.
Awesome. And that rounds out our questions. If anyone does have additional questions after Brent goes through the offer, we are here for a little bit longer to help answer those as well.
Well, as far as an offer, we always definitely like to try to give something unique for all those who've attended the webinar. We appreciate everyone's time and attention. Specialist pages, if anyone's interested in that, we are going to give them for 3 months, no charge, no commitment. So there's not a contracted term for that. If you do want to test out specials, see how they do integrate with the paid media, how it works with your site, just follow up with us after the fact, and we will go ahead and schedule those out accordingly and talk about how we would integrate that for you. And so that's available for anyone here. And then if anyone does want a full digital audit and see kind of how we would approach just like your digital presence, both SEO, paid media in general, we're also offering a gift card post-audit as we kind of go through everything. So if you're interested in any of those items, just let us know. Separately to that, if you do have any questions at all, feel free to send it our way and we'll get you answers regardless. And with that, I really, really appreciate your time. Thanks, Christina. Thanks, Elena, for the time and effort you put into all of this. And we look forward to talking to you all soon.